Bluegrass Brooklyn, our podcast all about the music we love, straight from the bluegrass borough of Brooklyn, New York.
Way down in Columbus, Stockade, my friends have turned their backs on me. So go and leave me if you wish to. Never let it cross your mind. If in your heart you love and know.
Season 3, Episode 9, IBMA Recap. I'm Mike Wilner.
And I'm Liz Wolfe.
And this week we are going to take a real close look at the International Bluegrass Music Association. Many people know the awards ceremony, and it's very glitzy. It's the Oscars or the Emmys of bluegrass. And Liz, it's opulent, right?
It's amazing. Definitely a highlight of IBMA, but there was so much more than that.
Yeah, there's a foundation, there's a leadership program, there's all kinds of things going on. So we wanted to bring you a more complete view. We talked to some folks who were involved. We talked to some musicians who were showcased, and we hope you enjoy that. First, before we get started, Liz, what do you got going on?
Well, we're rounding into the fall season. Fall foliage is coming soon, and that's going to be spectacular at the Warwick Retreat Center, which is where we are holding the Warnick Method Jam Camp, the one that I'm co-hosting with Alex Dean. We're pretty full up. We have one spot left. So if you're listening to this and you say, I had wanted to do that, you still have a chance. We would love to have you, and we will fit you in.
That's a very special event. The real community that evolves there is a tremendous musical experience. Anything else?
Well, there's lots of other jams going on. BluegrassJamsNearMe.com.
Yep.
And you can see what's happening.
As for me, I'm getting geared up for Fiddle Hell. It's November 13th through 16th in Westford, Massachusetts. And speaking of fiddles, calling all fiddle-playing friends. We have got an interview coming up with Jason Carter and Michael Cleveland together. These are two of the most nationally known A-list professional fiddle players, and we're going to talk about all things fiddle, not just their upcoming album, which we'll hear about, and their tour, but I have some very fiddle-specific questions. So, I'm inviting my fiddle-playing listeners, or any listener who cares to send in questions they would like to pose to Michael and Jason. I'll pick them at random. If we get a few, I'll ask them all. I'll mention who asked the question. So here's how you can submit your questions. Follow us at Bluegrass Brooklyn. That's Brooklyn spelled BKLYN on Instagram. I will post this offer on Instagram, and you can enter your question on the comment section. I will do the same thing in our Facebook group, which is also called Bluegrass Brooklyn, spelled the same way. You can send me an email, mike@bluegrassbrooklyn.com. So let's take full advantage, fiddle comrades. Should be a lot of fun. All right, Liz, you got anything else on your mind?
Now let's get to the interviews.
I do want to mention that our intro music was Columbus Stockade Blues by Jake Jolliffe and the Jake Jolliffe Band on their album of the same name, the Jake Jolliffe Band. You can listen to our full-length interview with Jake, Season 2, Episode 10 on Bluegrass Brooklyn Podcast. Okay, let's roll. So when I got to the IBMA in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Liz, what I was thinking was jamming, because, I know you, so I'm figuring I'm going to be up all day and all night jamming. But on that Thursday night, I would be at the awards ceremony, and that's really all I was thinking about. Boy, was I wrong.
That's right. When you walk into that convention center and you see the breadth of what the IBMA organization is up to, not just, hey, everybody, get to be a better banjo or mandolin player or have some more jams, but really investing in the musicians and the industry professionals in bluegrass.
For sure. One part I was completely ignorant about was the IBMA Foundation. The foundation has the mission to build bluegrass music through fundraising, targeted giving, scholarships, and all that kind of stuff. It hands out plenty of grants, some of which are to fund the music educational expenses of kids. Some are for particular instrumentalists. So if you play the dobro, you can apply for the Mike Aldridge Memorial Scholarship, and the list is pretty long. There are grants, and there are other funds that are used for supporting bluegrass musicians. I was very impressed. But for right now, listeners, the IBMA Foundation has a job opening for an executive director. We're going to put the link in the program notes. It's a role that requires familiarity with grant writing and similar fundraising activities. But please, if you think you can contribute in this role, apply. They'd love to hear from you. Mention that you learned about this role on our show. We ran into Brad Kolodner, who's a member of the IBMA. He's on the board of the IBMA. He's involved with the Momentum Awards, which we'll learn more about, and all kinds of other stuff. And he's a musician. So he's typical of what we see. There are these people who are dedicating their administrative and professional skills to the association and passionately playing music. And it's just very cool. Let's hear from Brad. I'm here with Brad Kolodner. Brad, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you taking the time. Man, you've been a busy guy. Tell us a little bit of what you're up to here.
Well, like so many in the bluegrass music world, wear a lot of hats, but at my core, I'm a banjo player and love this music. I grew up with it. My dad's a musician. He plays fiddle and hammered dulcimer, and just couldn't escape it. And here at IBMA, doing a bunch of different things, showcasing, playing with my buddy George Jackson, who's a fiddle player originally from New Zealand. We have a duo, old-time fiddle and banjo music.
Nice.
And I'm out of Baltimore, so there's a lot of bluegrass history and heritage in that town. But I also am a radio DJ, and that's how I really got involved with IBMA. I'm a DJ for Bluegrass Country Radio, which is out of DC, streaming online at bluegrasscountry.org. And I host an old-time program and a bluegrass program for the station. I really love curating music, sharing the stories and the context behind the songs. I feel like that's something that gets lost in the streaming era these days. This music is about stories and carrying on traditions and also writing new ones and being able to contextualize that through the medium of radio, really digging a little deeper than just another tune that pops up randomly on the streaming service. It's nice to get into the weeds.
Let's tackle your stuff one thing at a time. So here at IBMA, you wear a bunch of hats. First of all, you left off one thing from your resume, MC extraordinary.
Thank
right?
you. Yes, I hosted the Momentum Awards
Yeah.
show on Wednesday here in Chattanooga, and the Momentum Awards are very meaningful to me. That's really how I got hooked into this, was through a program called Leadership Bluegrass, which
Right.
IBMA does. It's basically a professional development seminar, get more involved with the organization. And then through that, I learned about the Momentum Awards and was fortunate enough to receive a Momentum Award for industry involvement back in 2017.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And since then, have been involved with the awards show, doing some narration, some liners during the program, and this year was asked to host the show, and
Nice.
it was a real privilege to be up there to hand out the awards and bring folks through the program. It was a real joy and thrilled to be in front of so many heroes and folks who work in this industry.
It was exciting. And our hometown hero, Austin Scelzo, came home with an award.
Austin's great. He's just a wonderful musician, but also a really good ambassador for this
Yeah.
music. And coming to a thing like IBMA, being around folks like Austin and so many others who are passionate about this music, but also take that next step to get involved and
Yeah.
spread the joy of this music through teaching workshops or producing music or running a camp or running a festival or hosting a show. Like all these folks who go the extra mile to share this joy of this music with other people. It's really inspiring.
So now let's get your Brooklyn credentials.
Okay.
You mentioned the magic word before when we were chatting, the Jalopy Theater. Where
Yeah, I've played at the Jalopy a couple of times over the years. It's a beautiful space, and it's a rare thing, honestly, to have a venue that's so committed to roots music, and Jalopy does great work. I'm very inspired by the work that Jalopy does, and we do lots of community organizing in Baltimore. I host a monthly square dance and
Fun.
run an old-time jam session with my dad, and produce an old time music festival every spring.
Whoa,
And
wait,
it's
stop
called the
there.
Baltimore Old Time Music Festival. Yeah.
Don't go too fast on that one. When is that going to be?
It's in April, yeah, April 17th, 18th. It's right on the harbor in downtown Baltimore City, and we bring in artists from all around the country. In fact, some New York artists will be there next year. Jerron Paxton is playing the festival, a wonderful old-time and blues musician out of New York. We've had some other New York folks come through, like Hubby Jenkins, and Nora Brown and Stephanie Coleman have played the festival. So yeah, that's a really great time, and that's in April, Baltimore Old Time Music Festival.
Okay, so we'll see you down there next year, I think.
Hope so.
Now, last bit, what about your band?
So I play in a few different bands. Here at IBMA, I'm with my buddy George Jackson, who's a fiddle player originally from New Zealand. And
That's interesting.
he lives in Nashville these days. He got hooked on old time and bluegrass music at a young age. And for the past year or so, we've been playing a number of festivals and shows and stripping it down to that classic pairing of fiddle and banjo, that kind of raw sound, and we really love the interplay, the conversation that happens with the banjo and fiddle, this kind of tug and pull between those two. And then I also play, as I mentioned, with my father, Ken. He's a great hammered dulcimer player and fiddler. But as you can probably hear, I'm very passionate about this music.
Well, you know what they say, if you got a fiddle and a banjo, you got a band.
There you go, yes.
We'll look forward to seeing you down in Baltimore next April.
Yeah.
And what else is happening for you here at IBMA?
I serve on the board of IBMA, and I'm very honored to be the vice chair currently and represent broadcast media. So it's just been wonderful to see so many folks from around the world descend upon Chattanooga and support this music and community. So I had a number of board meetings earlier in the week and playing some showcases with George, of course hosting that awards show on Wednesday, and in a couple hours we'll be headed in to the big auditorium for the IBMA Awards with Steve Martin and Allison Brown.
As you can hear from Brad, there's really an incredible variety of ways that the IBMA is supporting bluegrass professionals. And one of the ways that they honor them, as he mentioned, he hosted the Momentum Awards. And we're so proud that one of our own, Austin Scelzo, won one of those awards this year. He won the award for industry involvement. So just a tiny bit more about the Momentum Awards. It's an award that is given annually to artists and industry professionals who are in the early years of their careers in bluegrass music. So these are emerging momentum awards. And our very own Austin Scelzo won the industry involvement. And if you know Austin, you know he is everywhere and everything. He is doing
everywhere.
incredible work. And although technically he's from Connecticut, we have inferred Brooklyn citizenship on him. And I caught up with Austin at the Podunk Festival, which, as we know, is in Connecticut. And he gave me an interview about the work that he is doing there. So let's listen into that. Well, hello and welcome, Austin Scelzo, the founder of the Connecticut Bluegrass Association, but of course also an amazing fiddler and musician. He plays with the Rock Hearts and On the Trail, and a teacher and does all kinds of stuff. He's also a Wernick method instructor. So welcome, Austin.
Thank you so much for having me, Liz. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so give us the quick rundown. What are you up to these days? And tell us all about your musical journey.
Sure. Well, I've got a foot in a lot of doors. I love teaching bluegrass, either in camp settings or in group classes. Wernick method is usually the method I'm using to teach people, but I have some online classes here and there. Performing with the two bands that you mentioned takes up a lot of my time, and then kind of, making the Connecticut Bluegrass Association stuff happen. In short, my story started as a music teacher in the public school systems in Darien, and spent every summer living out of my Honda Element, going from Bluegrass Festival to Bluegrass Festival, and getting more and more hooked on this awesome community that you and I are part of. I'm sure can relate to how addicting it can be to just meet and make so many friends out there picking in the fields and things like that. And it was just 4 years ago now that I decided to step down from that public school teaching job to take the leap into the bluegrass world. I got encouragement from mentors of mine like Pete Wernick and Jay Unger and Christian Howes. They encouraged me to build a career in bluegrass music. The first class I did was in Bethel, Connecticut, had 12 people, and all those folks got together weekly after that class to jam. Doubled the number of bluegrass jams in Connecticut after that one class. And so I really recognized the response that I was getting for people taking my background in education and bringing it into the bluegrass music world and bringing any element of leadership into the bluegrass community in New England. It's been an awesome, exciting journey that continues to get more and more exciting every year since.
You have so much going on, and if people do want to know what you're up to, where you're playing, what classes you're doing, and of course, we're going to talk about the Connecticut Bluegrass Association in a moment, but it's all on your website, which is austonscelzo.com, Scelzo. So there you were, teaching and doubling the number of bluegrass jams in Connecticut. What inspired you to actually go ahead and found the Connecticut Bluegrass Association?
Well, I learned later in life that there were these incredible things happening in my state right under my nose. I didn't get into bluegrass until college, but I started to play some fiddle related genres in high school. And I figured out that some of my heroes today, Daryl Anger and Brittany Haas and Bruce Molsky, all these people came by 20 minutes from where I grew up. And I just didn't realize that there was an awesome venue like that in Connecticut. And there was also a bluegrass jam just 15 minutes from me. I found it that I only got connected through word of mouth, and I wanted it to be easier for people, and I wanted to help grow that community. And I also noticed that there were thriving bluegrass organizations on all sides. The Boston Bluegrass Union being the biggest in New England. Rhode Island Bluegrass Alliance has some of the most membership of any bluegrass organization. Boston Bluegrass Union, of course, puts on the Joe Val Festival that's well known. And just 15 minutes west of me of Danbury, Connecticut is the Hudson Valley Bluegrass Association, the Westchester Bluegrass Club, Adirondack Bluegrass League. There's all these organizations that were surrounding me that were thriving, and Connecticut didn't have one. And so I figured I'm in my 20s. If there's anyone that's going to have the energy to do it and the drive to do it, it's me. And so I put together a team of people who felt that vision and were willing to volunteer their time to dig in and create this.
What benefits do people get if they join the Connecticut Bluegrass Association?
Well, the main goal of the organization was to help connect people, to build community, figure out where the open jams are, where the events are happening. We have an event calendar now that people can upload their events to directly on the website, and it goes right to the calendar. It could be a jam, it could be a workshop, it could be a show or a concert. We have a list of festivals. We have where people can repair their instruments and where people can try instruments, an instrument loaning program. We have a map of who plays bluegrass in the state and where their general kind of location is. Often what I do is share that with people who are looking to get connected, and I'll help guide or put together little email groups of people in the area who are thinking there's no one near me that plays bluegrass. So that's a great benefit. And of course, the newsletters provide a lot of information for people as well.
Okay, and that website, though, is different than your website.
That's CT, Connecticut, ctbluegrass.com.
ctbluegrass.com. Okay. There was a jam at a brewery or something that you were doing. Is that still happening?
Yeah, so the jams that I've hosted have evolved over the years in many ways, not just the location. And I'm sure anyone who hosts jams recognizes that as soon as you get the perfect location, a couple of years in the future, it's going to evaporate for whatever reason. I had one in Ridgefield at the Nod Hill Brewery, is maybe what you're thinking about. There was also a venue that I ran called the Bluegrass Coffee House that in COVID kind of fell apart. I did some stuff in Bethel. The latest thing, which I'm very excited about, is at the Granite, and this is a brand new community art space that's run by this guy who loves bluegrass. We're going to do monthly bluegrass nights that'll have house band playing, and then multiple jamming spaces, a slow jam run by some folks who are regulars in the bluegrass scene, and all sorts of house concerts and events and things like that. There's going to be a bluegrass jamming class, a harmony singing class, the bluegrass night. So the Granite, which is an old church in Reading, Connecticut, is a great new space that I've been running a lot of my jams.
Speaking of harmony, you have a harmony app now.
Yes. Yes,
You
two
did.
and a half years in the making, a long-term project of mine, finally out there, and we're just unrolling it to people and telling people about it. I've had a lot of opportunities this summer to get people to use it, hands-on experience. It's a web-based application that's very easy to use. We've had people of all age interact with it, and I just got back from watching 50 or so people get a demonstration on a big screen and then get their phones out and log in to partbyheart.com and use it themselves. So it's basically an app that's designed to teach people to sing harmony by isolating each of the tracks of popular bluegrass songs, and you can listen to the baritone or the tenor part and then add it in to the other parts or blend the volumes. You can repeat as many times as you need to hear it, and also you can change the pitch or the key of those songs so people can find what's best for their voice or their jam group or their band and rehearse it and develop a sort of intuitive sense of how to sing harmony. And the whole idea of that is you practice your part, you learn it by heart, and then you get there and sing it with others. So that's partbyheart.com.
Well, I want to encourage anyone listening to look up partbyheart.com, austinscelzo.com, ctbluegrass.com, and just get involved. If you're anywhere near Connecticut, look up for some jams. And also, of course, go to Podunk next year because that is the Connecticut Bluegrass Festival to hit up. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Austin, and wishing you much success in all of these adventures.
Thanks so much for having me, Liz.
You took me to your great big town, little eyes of Jane, lots of people hanging around.
It is true. Austin is everywhere. He really deserves that industry involvement award. A critical and central activity at the IBMA World of Bluegrass are the showcases. 25 bands are selected out of I don't know how many thousands must apply. And it's really a very important activity to sustain and grow our music so that musicians who may not yet be getting heard the way we'd like them to be or are getting heard but need help behind their touring or their recording careers can meet booking agents, touring managers, recording studio executives.
It's really a wonderful double whammy in that not only do the booking agents, et cetera, get to listen to these bands, but we do too. So if you, and it was really also a wonderful way to see Chattanooga. And then, so not only are you seeing really cool people, you're going to some really great venues, you're supporting the local culture, and the music was just awesome.
Another aspect is they get 45-minute sets, and they know they're playing for agents, etc. It's like if you're a high school football player, you know there are college scouts in the audience. You're going to give them your best stuff. So we're hearing what these bands think is their best music, which is very cool. So the first artist I ran into was Seth Mulder. He's the frontman for Midnight Run. If you haven't listened to them, suggest you do. They've got some albums out, and we'll take a listen to some of his music at the end of the interview. But first, let's hear what Seth has to say. So here we are with Seth Mulder, the leader of the Midnight Run. Seth, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Good to be here.
You've had a busy IBMA.
Mike, we've been staying busy.
What was your favorite part of the conference so far?
You know, a lot of times it's like a big reunion. We get to see so many people and get to meet people, and that's really what it is for us. Getting to hang out with our heroes and getting to hang out with people that we've become friends with and that are like family. And, you know, playing the music is awesome, but it's just the connection and the socialization afterwards and in between shows. It's a big part of it for me.
What's the philosophy of the band? What's your driving vision?
I want to take it as far as I can go with it. I'm playing music full time. I'm doing it for a living.
Wow.
And so we want to work as much as we can and take the music and share bluegrass everywhere, our style of music. We're all passionate about it, especially me, and passionate about what we're doing. And I want to be able to share it with everyone.
How do you guys wind up selecting your repertoire?
A lot of it we'll write. Some of it we'll work with producers. Like this last album, we worked with Ken Irwin and Dudley Cannell, and they both helped us with the music, and they helped come up with the songs. Sometimes some of the guys in the band will pitch songs. It's a group effort. There's a lot that goes into it.
it all sounds like very authentic, old school. Some like Stanley Brothers or somebody like that wrote it, but I'm always surprised when it said, "I've just wrote that one," or whatever. So you guys really stick to tradition a lot.
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah,
That's our thing. Yeah, we really try to.
Tell us a little bit about your fiddle player.
So on fiddle, we've got Mason Wright. He's from Virginia.
Yeah.
Really excited. He used to play with Audie Blaylock, and he's a fantastic fiddler. We're excited to have him with us. Then on banjo, we've got Carter Lester, also from Virginia. On upright bass, we've got Tyler Griffith from Indiana. On guitar, we have Anthony Howell, and he is from Mississippi. And that kind of makes everyone in the band.
So how long has the band been together?
The band's been around, it's been touring on the road for about 8 years.
Wow, that's longevity in this day and age.
Yeah, through that time there's been different personnel changes, but we've been on the road consistently for 8 years.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot.
Gotcha.
Mount Rushmore is 4 iconic Americans. Mm-hmm. If I asked you to name your Mount Rushmore of mandolin players, 4 only, doesn't have to be the most technically proficient or anything, but the 4 who are most impactful for you and why?
It'd be Ronnie McCurry.
Yep. And why Ronnie?
Because I was a huge Del McCurry fan, and he played mandolin with Del, and that's why I played Gilchrist, because Ronnie played a Gilchrist. Then we'd have Dave McLaughlin, and David played mandolin with my other favorite band, would be the Johnson Mountain Boys.
Yep.
Big hero of mine. Then I would have to say Chris Thiele.
Chris.
Massively impactful. Can't say I necessarily would try to play like him, but very impactful mandolin player.
Number 4 is
And number
always
4,
tough.
that's an interesting one. I'm trying to think of 4. I would say, David Grisman, because he's a later influence, but I would say he's one because he also influenced a lot of the other players that I also like.
Yeah, Chris and David make it on a lot of people's list of 4. It's a tough question, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where did you come up with the name Midnight Run?
It's funny. We were actually working at a moonshine distillery. That's where the band started, and that was the whole thing. I was looking for something that related to moonshine and, midnight run at night,
Yeah.
with the liquor. I didn't anticipate longevity with it, but it just kind of happened.
How did the band form up?
The band started out as a house band at the Old Smoky Moonshine Distillery, so that's where I started it. And I started out as, it was a job, it was a day job. Never necessarily intended to take it out on the road or anything, but through, a variety of things, people coming out and seeing us, we'd get asked to play festivals, and eventually there was enough demand for it that we started playing out festivals.
You're just getting back from touring. You're not going out on tour now.
Well, we're going out this weekend. We go to California. We're headed out to California. We're playing the Franklin Bluegrass Festival. Then we go to the Dump Valley Bluegrass Festival. And then after that, we slow down for a little bit. But we have a few more shows coming up. But this is kind of going into slow season.
Yeah, the festival season's incredibly hectic.
Yeah.
How long have you been on the road at this point?
At this point, been on the road pretty steady since end of April.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to get home and settling down a little bit?
Definitely looking forward to that.
You've recorded albums? Or
Yeah.
How many you got out?
We've got 3 studio albums. One was self-released, one on Mountain Fever Records, and then our newest one on Rebel Records.
So let me ask a different question. Can you tell us about a teacher or mentor who's had the most profound impact on you and your style?
Dudley Connell.
How come?
Johnson Mountain Boys were a huge inspiration for me as far as like music, singing style, both as a person and just like how we understand music. He was at our last show just here, and he co-produced our record with Ken Irwin. He's been a massive influence on my music and everything that I've done. And I couldn't attribute any of my success without recognizing that. He's done a lot, and it's cool to get to call him a friend now. A lot of times they say don't meet your heroes, but that's definitely someone that I'm thankful I got to know.
It's funny, I've heard that too, but here in Bluegrass, I'm always happy when I meet my heroes.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about Bluegrass.
All right.
It's special.
Seth, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mike.
And I really wish you a lot of success, and I look forward to the next time I see you.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Here's Looking Past the Pain, Seth Mulder and Midnight Run, from their album Coming On Strong, their latest release. Let's give a listen.
All my life I've been a cowboy, riding across the range, from the hills of old Montana to the north
Another really awesome band that we got to see was a band called Backline. And I always love to see women-led bands up on the stage. This one is led by a woman named BKLYN in Guardia. And here's her story.
So we're here with BKLYN of Backline. Now tell me a little bit about Backline.
Well, the band has been together for 10 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, but this collaboration, this lineup that we have with us at IBMA this year, and we've been together for about 2 years. And so we're making new music and a new lineup with this band, and I'm really excited about what's coming out of the can with this group.
Yeah, so I was walking along in the exhibit hall here at IBMA, and I would stop dead in my tracks when I heard you singing.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so where did you learn to sing like that?
Thank you. Oh, my dad sang, and we grew up around bluegrass, and my dad sang bluegrass gospel growing up, so
Nice.
grew up around that, and that was just a big part of our life. And we were in the back seat going to bluegrass festivals all over. It really influenced me, and then to see Rhonda and so many great female artists doing it and doing it so well,
Yes.
it really inspired me to want to go after that.
I'm really glad to hear you say that, because we get a chance to focus on women in bluegrass as a theme.
Yeah.
So we've had Becky Buller,
Oh, wow.
Allison Brown, all big
Top
name-
tier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
top tier. And also in Brooklyn, we've got some incredible musicians. Hillary Hawk, who plays banjo and so on and so forth. And everybody's got the same kind of thing to say, because they were able to look on stage and say, oh, I see Missy Raines playing bass there. The young Vicki Vaughn says, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really so encouraging.
Talent, inspiring talent, I think.
That's what
It's
it is.
amazing.
Tell me about the band a little bit.
So we have a 5-piece band, and I'm the last founding member of the band. So I've been with it 10 whole years.
Wow.
And I took over the band leader position about 3 or 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And so the band we have now, as bass player, our bass player is our longest tenant with us. He was a founding member of Volume 5. His name's Chris Williamson.
Uh-huh.
And we got Alex Hampton from Blacksburg, South Carolina. He's been with us about 2 going on 3 years now.
And what's Alex playing?
He plays dobro.
That's an amazing sound he's got, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, we love it. He's only been playing music, bluegrass music, for 7 years.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we have on the mandolin David Hebner, and he's from Golden Valley, North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
And he's been with us going on about 2 years now.
Uh-huh.
And then banjo player is Jacob Carroll from Spruce Pine, North Carolina. He's the baby of the band.
Yeah, but he was ripping it up.
Oh yeah, he don't play with that. He gets after it.
Okay, so tell us what piece of music would you like us to listen to so that people get an idea of your sound?
Yeah, well, our latest single that was just released, we just got signed with Mountain Fever Records.
Oh,
out
great
of-
for you.
Yeah, thank you, out of Willis, Virginia. And really excited to be working with that team. They got a great thing going over there, and tickled to be working with them. But they just released a song called Dark Rolling Deep.
So why don't we listen to that for a minute?
There once was a captain who wanted a wife. He asked for my hand, took me as his bride. Promised the world and the heart of the sea. Eternally hers because of me. The crew tried to...
That sounded amazing. So what's next for you guys?
Oh man, we're going to be finishing up our showcases. We had 11 showcases this week.
Wow.
Yeah, we started Tuesday and have been really working hard at IBMA this year.
So let me make sure the listeners know what we're talking about. Showcases are these like 45-minute gigs, right? You get up and do a set.
Yeah.
This time it was in the exhibit hall. You were probably in one of the Ramble locations. And
Yeah, so
it's-
we were a Ramble band this year, and so IBMA, we got to be showcased by IBMA.
Yeah.
And we got to play those stages. And then there's rooms in the Marriott. So last night we played on the 16th floor in a conference room up there. They've set it up with stages and lights and stuff. So
Fantastic.
we've been all over these buildings.
So when we getting you up in Brooklyn? When you guys coming up?
Hey, you call us, we'll come. We're ready.
How do you guys choose your repertoire?
Well, we write a lot of material.
Really? You guys
Yes.
sounded so like authentic old school. I'm like,
Thank
I don't remember that. I didn't hear that on the Stanley Brothers, comprehensive recording, but it sure sounds like it.
Wow, well, thank you for that. We try to share a lot of original music. And we say we're modern with a nod to the traditional. We try to nod to it because that inspired us, you
Yeah,
know,
yep.
to play this music. And so we really try to nod to it here and there, but we are a little more modern in our writing and what we try to share with people.
What's the next thing for you?
Next thing, we'll be at Blue Highway Fest. They put on an amazing music concert in Big Stone Gap, Virginia.
When is Blue Highway Fest?
October 10th, I believe it starts on the 9th and goes through that Sunday, the 12th.
Okay.
We're going to be there on Friday,
Okay.
and we're going to be playing an hour set there.
Nice.
It's killer. In the early part of the week, they have stages downtown. They have the roads blocked, and they have some stages there. The big stage is down in the park.
Well, good luck with that, and thanks a lot
Thank
for taking time today.
What I loved about that interview is how supportive she is of her fellow bandmates. And I have to admit, I love a good banjo pick and tune. I love the traditional. So that's what really makes you tap your foot and enjoy that traditional music vibe. Best wishes to them.
Yep. The showcases were held, as we mentioned, in the hotel, in the conference center, but some were out in small eating and drinking venues with stages, bars, nightclubs. And we caught up with the Unfaithful Servants at Hi-Fi Clyde's on Main Street in Chattanooga. Jesse Cobb, mandolinist extraordinaire, formerly of the infamous String Dusters, is in this band. They have one of the most driving fiddle players I've heard. The songs are amazing. So let's go over to Hi-Fi Clyde's and give a listen. So here we are at the IBMA. I'm here with Dylan and Jesse from the Unfaithful Servants. Guys, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start off with this, the name of the band. Where did that come from?
Dylan, you field this one, buddy.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Your fault?
It comes up a lot. I am a really big fan of the group, the band.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up with their music. I've played their music my whole life, and I love that song, and I always thought it would make a great band name. When I first met Jesse, actually, we did a recording of some of my tunes, and I called the album Dylan Stone and the Unfaithful Servants. And then as Jesse and I kept playing together, we just turned into the Unfaithful Servants ourselves.
I thought so. I suspected as much, but I had to confirm those suspicions. Jesse, how did you make it from the String Dusters to the Unfaithful Servant?
Oh man, that is a longer story than we have time to delve into. By about 2011, my time with the infamous String Dusters ended, and I moved to Canada. I had just married my wife, who lived in Victoria, BC at the time. I tried traveling and touring from there, and that was pretty hard to do. And then we moved to Ontario, and just the travel and stuff got too much. We had 2 little kids, and it was time to get my act together and raise some kids.
Yeah. So Dylan, what prompted you to create the Unfaithful Servant?
So Jesse had moved to Victoria eventually to be with his wife and raise their kids. I heard his mandolin playing, and that made me want to play music with him. And Yeah, I hadn't really had conceived of the band. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I would do my songwriter stuff. But once I heard Jesse, I immediately sort of stuck to him like glue and convinced him to be in a band with me eventually. Here we are, almost 10 years later, down in Chattanooga.
Well done. Speaking of Chattanooga, this is your first time, both of you, at the IBMA?
We've been here quite a few times with other people, but this is our first time as a band, together.
Exciting. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty exciting for us to come down from Canada, and playing this type of music. This is where it comes from and where it's popular and proliferates, and it's just coming right to the IBMA where all these great musicians are. I was one table over from Doyle Lawson this afternoon, just hanging out, and it's like, man, this is
watching Junior Sis.
Yeah, it's pretty far out to get to come right into the heart of it all, and pretty exciting for some Canadian boys, eh?
Even for a New York boy from the Bluegrass borough of Brooklyn, New York, walking down that promenade at the convention and just looking left and right, every Bluegrass hero I've ever had is hanging out and drinking coffee and checking their phones or whatever. It's really very exciting.
We just finished our first ever set in the States.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're here at the Hi-Fi Clyde's. Let's listen to Backline's on West Main Street in Chattanooga, where they're putting up showcases where you get to do a 45-minute set, which, as I was saying before, Jesse, I think is a great way to kind of kick things off and get to really hit them hard with your best stuff. Now, let's talk about the influences on your music. So I'm listening. I definitely hear blues. I definitely hear country and bluegrass. I thought I heard a little Frank Zappa in there. And
We've been known to listen to some Frank Zappa,
Yeah.
some of us.
my suspicions again are confirmed.
Yeah. It's a pretty wide palette, which I think gives us our sound. We have a very unique sound. It's not trad bluegrass. It's not country. We've struggled with a label for this band a lot because Jesse has a really strong bluegrass background, and you can stand up with the best of them. And I'm really into songwriters like Townes Van Zandt, John Prine, Neil Young, Graham Parsons, and we all love country music, and we put it all together and make a sound of our own and mostly play our own original music and arrange it in a way that we want it to have a lot of impact and strong performances.
You have a very bluegrass configuration. For the listeners, it's a mando, a guitar, we have a fiddle player,
Yeah.
and a bass player.
Yeah.
So you can go straight ahead bluegrass if you choose to, or go off and do whatever. Do you get out and tour? Are you planning to get out and tour at all?
We've been getting out more and more. Yeah, we are doing a big tour in the fall to support our new record.
Right.
And we'll be doing gigs pretty much starting now all the way through December into the new year.
Ooh.
Our whole intention of coming out here to play is to come down into the States and start playing in the Pacific Northwest and working our way down the coast and inland. Just
Eventually to Brooklyn.
all the way to
Don't forget
Brooklyn.
us in the Northeast, man.
No, not at all.
Well, we got to just start getting those festivals, and then we'll be coming out.
Let's talk about the new album. What's the name, first of all?
It's called Fallen Angel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the vision or driving underlying motivation or theme?
That title is going to be is a title track, so that's the first single off the record, is a tune called Fallen Angel. And I would say that song does a good job of capturing the band's mood. It's a pretty moody tune, and a lot of our songs have that mood to it. And I think the whole album sort of carries that theme a little bit, so it's I'm really proud of it as being like a cohesive sounding album, and it all has a theme and a sound to it. You know?
That's cool. When's it coming out?
October 17th,
Yes.
and the first single is September 19th.
Well, let's see. This may not air by September 19th, so our listeners are going to have to retroactively seek it out. But what's next for you guys? There's the album. You got the tour coming up. What do you have in your long-term vision?
We want to tour a bunch, you know? I mean, that's the whole point of coming to IBMA in Chattanooga is to see what the bluegrass world thinks about what we do. And, you know, with my touring background, like I know where we can play in the States. It's just a matter of finding the people who want to hear it, I guess.
Yeah. Now, before it gets too loud here with this new band coming up, I did want to ask, we could do a lot of originals.
We do.
And that's very cool. So what's the songwriting process from lyrics and melody within the band?
I bring a lot of the tunes to the group. I'll bring a song in, and I'm pretty selective. I write a lot of songs, but there's only certain tunes I'll actually bring to the band. And we do a lot of arranging together. So some of the songs we've been arranging for years, and I don't know if we'll ever stop. Jesse writes really fantastic instrumental tunes and writes songs as well. And we bring them to the band, and we say, how can we make this work for us? How can we make this interesting? How do we arrange this to make it the best it can possibly be?
Yeah.
And let's not just play it like it's a song. Here's how the song goes. Start, middle, end. Let's really dive into this thing and build it into something epic.
Very
Is
cool.
the word we use a lot.
Well, listen, I hope you have a great IBMA, and I'll be looking forward to hearing the album, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in Brooklyn when you get up there for your tour.
All right.
We'll look you up.
All right, please do. Have a great time. Why don't we have a listen to Fallen Angels off of Unfaithful Servants' upcoming album called Fallen Angels.
It's not the calm down that I don't mind. It's why I go there to leave behind that empty feeling that you get from time to time. I need your love to save my life. For all the darkness in our lives is hanging over our heads.
So one point of reflection for me coming out of IBMA was the range of experience and people you encounter when you're there. So there I am on the 16th floor jamming and having fun. And I was right next to that showcase room that they were talking about. And here comes Greg Blake. You know, he just won the IBMA Singer of the Year award, and he's hanging out in the hallway with us. And the next morning to be in the Warnick jam class where I meet a guy who's never even played in a bluegrass jam before, and he's just learning the banjo. And I think to myself, buddy, you don't know what you got yourself into.
That's right. So my favorite things were, first, this 2-inch stack of business cards I collected, which represent an incredible expansion of my personal contacts within the bluegrass world around the country. My world has exploded and is now so much broader, and I met so many great people, both professionally and as friends. And I'm really motivated to get involved with the International Bluegrass Music Association and contribute, join in some of their programs or foundation activities, because this is what's going to carry our music forward and make sure that there are generations and generations of players behind us. So, Liz, what else you got?
Well, I want to remind everybody to follow us at Bluegrass Brooklyn. Brooklyn is spelled BKLYN. You can find us on Instagram, where you can put your questions for our fiddler interview. And you can see us on Facebook, where you can do the same. And of course, you can always find us online at bluegrassbrooklyn.com.
Yep, that sounds like it pretty much wraps it up.
Another great episode. Thank you.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you around the jam circle. Let's take it out with Another Empty Bottle by Raven and Red from their We Rise Up album.